We thought Texas was the dream, but it isn't adding up anymore. And for the first time, families are quietly leaving for Michigan, where housing is more affordable, insurance is predictable, and costs actually line up with paychecks. But here's the part that surprises them most. It's not just cheaper, it feels more livable. In this video, I'll show you the 5 huge reasons Michigan is beating Texas in 2025. And by the end, you won't just understand why people are leaving, you'll wonder if you should be next. Hey everyone, I'm Baldwin. Over the past few years, I've had the privilege of helping families from all over the country move to Michigan. And you'd be shocked how many of them came to me saying the same thing. What if I told you that a state most people overlook, Michigan, is becoming one of the most balanced, affordable, and livable places in the country? That's exactly what we're diving into today. Cost of living, housing affordability, the hidden costs nobody talks about, the lifestyle you can only find in Michigan, and the economic stability that makes this move more than just a dream. All right, let's get into it. The first thing people always ask me about is the cost of living. And honestly, this is where the story really starts to flip. Everyone loves to say Texas is affordable, but let's be real. Texas used to be affordable. The numbers tell a whole different story today. In Michigan, the median home price is sitting around $290,000 as of mid-2025. And in Metro Detroit, including Oakland County, plenty of homes are selling in that $350,000 range and up. Now compare that to Texas, where the statewide median is already between $330,000 and $340,000. And in Austin, the average home price is pushing close to $500,000. And here's the bill that catches people off guard: insurance. In much of Texas, homeowners pay $4,000 to $6,000 a year for standard coverage. And that's before the storms hit. Every hailstorm, flood, hurricane season just pushes those premiums higher and higher. Meanwhile, in Michigan, the average premium is closer to $1,800 to $2,500 a year, depending on your coverage. And here's the big difference. Michigan doesn't deal with hurricanes, and big weather disasters are rare. So rates stay a lot more stable, and it's not just cheaper, it's predictable. When you're trying to plan out your family budget, that kind of stability makes a big difference. Now let's talk utilities. Most people assume Michigan must be more expensive because of the winter heating. But the truth is, those Texas summers are brutal. When it's triple digits for weeks on end, the AC never stops running. I've seen families with bills climbing past $400 a month. Michigan winters do bring heating costs for sure, but then you get spring and fall where you barely even touch the furnace or the air conditioning. Over the course of a year, it balances out. And in a lot of cases, families actually pay less than they did down south. Instead of dreading the next big heat wave bill, you finally get a rhythm you can count on. So here's the bottom line. In Texas, you're paying more for housing, way more for insurance, and sometimes even more for energy during those scorching summer months. And in Michigan, those costs are usually lower, and even more important, they're steadier. Things like insurance, utilities, and taxes are easier to plan around. And this means with the same paycheck, you're not just getting by, you're actually breathing easier and living a little better. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. Michigan does come with its own costs, and I want to be upfront about them because moving is a big decision. A recent Bankrate Axios study found Michigan homeowners spend around $16,000 a year beyond the mortgage. That includes insurance, utilities, property taxes, and maintenance. And many families are surprised by the maintenance, like snow removal, furnace upkeep, installation, and roofing work. That adds up. And in Michigan, that maintenance component averages about $8,800 a year. Here's what Texans often underestimate. While maintenance and weather-driven repairs happen in Michigan, the state doesn't face the same level of hurricane, flood, or hail risks that parts of Texas do. That means premiums and repair surprises in Michigan tend to be less frequent and less volatile. So while you don't need to budget for upkeep, many families say the financial shocks are much fewer. And if you want to go even deeper, I've put together a free Michigan relocation guide. It is packed with top schools, neighborhood breakdowns, cost of living, and so much more. You'll find it linked down below in the description and pinned in the comments. This is where the story shifts from numbers to life. The cost of living might convince you to move, but lifestyle is what convinces you to stay. Ask anyone who's lived in Michigan for a whole year, and they'll tell you the same thing. It's the seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter. Each one shapes daily life in ways that people from warmer states don't often realize they've been missing. Summer here means water. Michigan has more than 11,000 in-lakes, plus the Great Lakes wrapping around the state. So picture this. It's Friday after work. You load the kids into the car, and in less than an hour, you're grilling by the lake, you're swimming, boating, laughing with your friends. That's not a getaway. That is a typical weekend in Michigan. Then comes fall, and the entire state transforms. Apple orchards, cider mills, tailgating on college football Saturdays, and road trips north just to chase the colors. I've had clients from Texas tell me that autumn was the moment they realized they weren't going back. The season gave them something they never had before. Winter does take adjusting, but once you lean into it, it becomes part of your rhythm. Families ski at Pine Knob, they snowboard at Boyne, go fishing in small towns, or just gather around the fire with hot chocolate while the snow falls outside. And when spring finally arrives, it doesn't just change the weather, it changes the mood. Flowers bloom, farmers markets pop up, patios open, and the whole state feels like it's waking up together. Here's the thing, in Texas, the heat locks you inside for months at a time. And in Michigan, every season pulls you outside and gives you new reasons to connect with people and places around you. That constant change isn't just a lifestyle perk. It's a way of living that keeps you grounded, refreshed, and genuinely happier. Now, for buyers, Michigan looks like a dream, but what about renters? That's where the story gets a little more complicated. In Oakland County, the average 2-bedroom apartment rents for about $1,900 a month. Over in Austin, that same 2-bedroom will run you just about the same, around $1,915 a month. On paper, those rents look similar, but here's where Michigan pulls ahead. To afford a fair market 2-bedroom in Michigan, roughly $1,272 a month, you'd need to make about $24.46 an hour. In Texas, that number jumps higher. Renters there need closer to $30 an hour just to keep from being rent burdened. And here's the kicker. Michigan's minimum wage is already $12.48 an hour, set to rise to $13.73 in 2026 and $15 by 2027. That steady climb doesn't just help renters, it pushes the entire wage scale upward. Now in Texas, the minimum wage is still stuck at $7.25 with no sign of movement. And when you zoom out to the big picture, Michigan simply stretches your paycheck further. Overall, the cost of living is about 6 to 7% cheaper than in Texas, and housing alone is nearly 14% lower. So even though renters here face challenges, the math still tilts in Michigan's favor. And this is where everything really ties together, because moving isn't just about houses and seasons, it's about your future. Michigan's economy is quietly one of the most resilient in the Midwest. Healthcare is projected to grow by over 10% in the next decade, adding tens of thousands of jobs across hospitals, clinics, and senior care. Manufacturing isn't fading, it's evolving. Billions are being poured into electric vehicle plants, battery facilities, and charging infrastructure. That's Ford, GM, and Stellantis betting long-term on Michigan workers. Even in Detroit, where the economy has been tested more than almost anywhere else, wages are forecast to grow at over 3% through the end of this decade. And here's the key. Those raises aren't just numbers on a paycheck. The University of Michigan forecasts that their real wages, meaning your income after inflation, will actually grow, giving families more buying power year after year. Meanwhile, Texas is starting to show some cracks. Employment growth there is slowing below its long-term average, and tech firms in Austin are shedding jobs. Oil prices keep swinging, which makes entire communities feel that volatility. In housing, boom and bust cycles are leaving families exposed when the market turns. In Michigan, it's a different rhythm. Comerica Bank's 2025 forecast shows unemployment holding steady at just about 4%, even as the state adds new housing and payrolls climb. That kind of stability means fewer mass layoffs, steadier paychecks, and more confidence in putting down roots. So while Texas has always been the state of highs and lows, Michigan is becoming the state of balance. And in today's world, balance is everything. It means predictability, security, and more time to enjoy the lifestyle you're building. So is it worth moving from Texas to Michigan in 2026? If your idea of worth it is clinging to the old story of Texas, cheap homes, low bills, endless opportunity, then no, because that Texas doesn't exist anymore. The math has changed. The lifestyle has also changed. And for many families, the dream has just slipped away. But if worth it means trading instability for balance, trading extremes for seasons, and trading survival mode for actually building a life, then yes, Michigan is more than worth it. It's affordable, it's steady, it's livable in ways Texas simply isn't right now. This isn't about running away from Texas, it's about running towards something better. And in 2026, that something better is Michigan. Now, I want to hear from you. Is moving from Texas to Michigan really worth it? And before you start packing your boxes, make sure to watch my next video, 5 huge reasons to move to Oakland County, Michigan. Because yes, even though the winters here are real, so many families still choose to stay anyway. So watch this next video to find out why. Of course, if you're ready to make the next step, contact me directly. My contact info is below, and I'd love to help you make the move to Michigan and make it your next home. Thanks for watching.